Sup, YouTube? What's going on? Army-Firedawg back, and today, unfortunately, is my last day of review with the wonderful Oppo PM-1s. These are absolutely my new standard for headphones. They are exquisitely made. The comfort level is outstanding. The sound quality is breathtaking. I mean, these are truly something to experience, and that's what you get while listening to these is an experience. But let's get on to why I like them so much, and kind of spoiler alert, I love them. So, starting with the construction as I usually always do, these are built extravagantly well. I mean, very similar to my Bowers Wilkins, all aluminum right here. And the headband, lambskin leather, very nice and thick aluminum right there throughout the entire frame. Does not add that much weight. Now these are kind of bulky on the weight side, and I guess even the size side, but are not flimsy at all. Like, I mean, these can take a good rough beating. The cups swivel a 180. You can see here's the front grill plate, and there's the microfiber velour paddings, which, on that note right quick, you actually get a choice of 3 ear pads to perfectly fit your comfort, which is something that I have never experienced, and I hope that's not just a loaner program exclusive, but I cannot be for sure if the 3 pads that come with these, the large lambskin leather and then the small lambskin leather, get 2 of each, is only with the loaner program. I'm not sure. Now, continuing, aluminum continues throughout the, I guess, side girdle of the drive casing. The only plastic I'm seeing is this part right here, and even that is very high quality plastic. It's not the really cheap stuff on other plasticky headphones. The back is technically an open back case, but I think it's more accurately should be described as a semi-open back, and I'll get onto why I believe that later. Now, the case it comes with is very similar to the PM-3 reviews, and that's kind of like a denim case right here. Has nice padding on the inside and very nice room, keeps it safe, but it's a very sturdy case. You get a choice of 2 cables. You get what my expectations are for an elite class product such as this, and that is a 10-foot braided and well shielded cable. This is not a cheap cable. I would be very disappointed on a product of this class and this price. Would be a very flimsy cable. You get a very nice Oppo design 1/4-inch aux jack. The only flimsiness on this is the actual headphone connectors, which I don't think you could put the braided up here because that would really reduce the flexibility of it. So I do not knock any points off. The other cable you get, unfortunately, is my first downside to this, and that's the mobile cable. As you can see, this has quite a bit of memory already, and it just doesn't feel well done at all. Like, it feels cheap. I believe this was the last of the production focus, so they just threw something together. That's what this cable feels like. It does also have some feedback when it brushes against something. It's not a lot. It is not irritating, but you do notice it. But that's my only drawback in terms of the construction. Actually, really, that's only my drawback in general. I really had to push very hard to find the actual drawback to it, or what could be considered a drawback. Now, moving on to what you actually care about most, and that is the sound quality. And as I mentioned earlier, my new standard. These are sublime. The highs on here, well, first off, this is a very neutral headphone. I would almost consider this a reference class headphone. I could not tell any bias on any frequency range, no matter if I was listening to really high-pitched violins or very heavy bass during some rock music. The highs, the only thing I did notice on that is when going from the treble to the upper treble range, that given range, it kind of, I guess the audiophile term is rolled. I believe it rolls because it just doesn't sound like a linear response going straight from treble to the upper treble range. It kind of does that motion, if it makes any sense. But I really had to focus. I didn't even notice this until just last night when I was doing my written review on it, which I'll leave a link in the description box down below. The mids, just like my Bowers & Wilkins, perfect. They're not as warm. Bowers & Wilkins are very warm and kind of a relaxing sound. These are just accurate. Like, it sounds just like I'm talking to you right now, almost. But they still have an inviting feel to them. Like, just because they're accurate, the Klipsch, my Klipsch X7Is, they're accurate mids, but they don't have that inviting feel. Now moving on to the bass, if you remember my PM-3 review, they were very bass-light, and I thought that was normal for a planar magnetic headphone, which is what these are. These are also a planar magnetic. And I was told that's just how planars react. People might consider them being bass-light, despite they're actually not. It's accurate. Well, I now have an argument for him because these can rock you. I mean, the bass is just as tight and that new standard as on the PM3s, but now you get that rumble when it hits. When it hits, you will feel it. So in other words, the sub bass is amazing on here. It's not diluted. It is what the song has, is what you will feel. The soundstage is also, again, perfect. It is amazingly accurate. All the audio cues around you are spot on. I mean, when I closed my eyes, listened to a live concert, I was absolutely in it. If you YouTube, what's it called? Ode to Joy, Flash Mob. Ode to Joy Flash Mob. It's just in I think it's like a German city. That's what the picture has. If you listen on these, I never heard that before. Whether I was listening to them on, my 650s, my Bowers Wilkins, whatever else I had at the time. There's two little kids right here that will not shut up. You just want to listen to them while you're listening to these, because you were there with these on your head. You are at that. And you just want to turn around and be like, will you please be quiet? I had a good snicker at that. But which brings me to something that I had to find really hard to find, so I can have a negative for these. I can have something. And that is that for an open back headphone, these are not as spacious or airy as I'm experienced with open backs. In fact, they actually kind of almost closed. But now, remember I said earlier they should be considered a semi-open back? Well, that is why. On a semi-open back, such as the Biodynamic DT880s, which is what even the padding reminds me of, the soundstage depth is where it should be. Which brings me to, I have zero complaints on this thing. I really don't. Like, I have never been blown away so much as these here. On the note of sound also, if you remember on the Planar Magnetic 3s, they scaled immaculately well when I plugged it into an amp. I mean, what I was lacking from it on the bass side was perfect when I put it onto my tube amp which was the Project Horizon 3 from Garage 1217. I'll leave a link to them as well in the description. But the sound signature did not change whatsoever when I plugged it rather from my phone or to my high impedance tube amp, which has a lot of power going to these guys. There's no change, I mean, at all. So on my full written review, unlike my PM3s where I did a before and after amplification, I did not do that on these because they never changed. What does that mean? That means you can drive these very comfortably and perfectly from your phone. Let that sink in for a moment. A planar magnetic headphone with just as good audio quality as from an amp. A high impedance, pretty nice amp. Sounds the same as from your phone. Your little, in my case, the LG G3. No discernible difference in audio quality either. That is immaculately impressive on a planar magnetic. That blew me away. So definitely that is a huge upside. So playing with from your phone or being portable with it, as long as you're in a semi-quiet environment, because again, semi-open back, you will have no issues. But these are now my new favorite headphone. I have zero complaints. So Oppo, wonderful job. If you produce more stuff like this in the future, you just might have a permanent, I can't think of going away from you. I've heard of many higher priced products, but these absolutely take the cake. So in closing, guys, these are the Oppo planar magnetic ones. They retail for $1,100, and also because they are a loaning program, I give a huge shout out to you, my friend Jiffy Squid from Headfi, because if it wasn't for you, I probably would not have had the honor of listening to these. So thank you immensely, Jiffy Squad or Jiffy Squid and Oppo. But guys, that's all for my review of the Oppo planar magnetic ones. If you like that video, hit that like button. I do greatly appreciate it. If you have some friends or someone else these might be of interest to, hit that share button, tag them in it, link them to my video. And if you really like my content, guys, smash that subscribe button. Keep yourself on the field in so you get other awesome reviews from this awesome guy of Singular Products. But as always, my name's Army-Firedawg. Stay safe.